So I want to take you on a journey about trend lines, and it's all about adding more value to our TGS strategy. Now, this is purely a trading view activity. So if you watch this session or the replay, you need to get your trading view app. And I could drop the link later for those who want it, or maybe on the video replay page, I could drop a link to the trading view app. I'm using this same asset we used a moment ago for the war on the 1 minute chart. All right, so here's what you need to know. Trend lines are a way for you to navigate the system and to predict what the market wants to do. Okay, so generally, if I select trend line from my trading view, and you can do this on your phone also, this is trend line. I can have a diagonal trend line. When the market is moving up, you draw it from the bottom. Okay, very important concept. Then when the market is moving downwards, you draw it from the top. Very important concept. So drawing it properly is key. When the market is going up, you draw it from the bottom. Okay. And when the market is coming down, you draw it from the top. The reason is you want to be clear when there's a change in price movement. All right. And I'll come to that in a moment. So this is the idea behind trend lines. These trend lines are a support and resistance mechanism. To draw them appropriately, always target the weak. Make sure you target the weak and then the most extreme points. And you just need 2 points to draw this properly. So I'm just putting this here on the weak, right? And I'm placing it just, just at the tip of, yeah. And I can draw this a little far, right? I can draw this a little far. Okay. Now, if you're not seeing this too clearly, you can decide to, drawing it properly is very important. So you should draw it on the wicks. I stress it again, it has to be on the wicks. So I'm just using a random 2 points. You just need 2 points, any 2 points. And you don't need to be too sensitive or criticize yourself about what the 2 points are. Any 2 points we do. Now, here's the thing. This is a discount point. And businessmen and women enter the discount point. This is another discount point. Businessmen and women also enter at the discount point. Okay, so I've touched here and I've touched here where this is an uptrend. So what are we looking for? We're looking for our entry where price touches this. So if I turn on the Bollinger Band now, you can see price touch here. KDJ moved. Excellent time to go in, right? You take your 1.5%. Then when next should you enter? So before this part came up, let's say you never saw that part, this was the part you saw, all right? Okay, this is the first, this is the second part, okay? So no problem, you've gotten your second point. Then price went up, you relax. When do you enter again? You want a situation where price would touch the support line. So here was a cross with the price below the trend line, and then you relax, okay? You observe. It's a cross with a tick line. When it crosses with a tick line, it means that markets might be going downwards. But you observe with the Bollinger Band, you're in the middle line. Okay, let's see what happens. So you observe KDJ is red here. Okay, the KDJ turns green here. And then you observe, okay, maybe this is going up. Now, because this has come below this point, you just quickly adjust it. The reason you're going to adjust it is because it just went up, right? It didn't just go crashing down. So this is one thing you need to understand when it comes to trend lines. When there's a cross down, there will be a retest, okay? So it crosses down, there will be a retest. Normally after this retest, it should drop down if it is going to crash. I'll repeat. So this is one of the key points. It went up. This is the second point. So you drew it from here and extended it, right? So when is the next entry point? You wait until it bounces here. Then you can take the next entry point. But you can see price closed below the trend line, which means there's some kind of need for you to correct the trend line. Now, when it comes down, it will retest from under, which is what it has done right here. As it retested from under, typically if it's going to go down, it will just fall down this way. But you can see price kept going up and KDJ turned green here. So of course, this is the time when you're going to draw and extend the trend line to touch these new lines, okay? Because this has shown you, okay, ignore this point and get here. So you enter here, KDJ says enter, you enter your trade here. And when you enter your trade here, yes, you could take a good 1.5%, and you're good. All right. Now, when is the next time you should enter? You should wait until it touches this support. So it touched here, and then it touched here, which is still close to here. It touched here, bounced up, give you 1.5%. Then it came down, touched here. So you're waiting for it to touch here. Remember, KDJ here turned green to say buy, but you don't go in because you are at the upper edge. You wait for it to come back. So when it touches here, that's a signal to buy. You know, that means here's a support. You're in an uptrend, so this is a support based on the trend line. But here is what you need to see. KDJ has given you the green light, and let's say you entered. That's toward the support line, right? KDJ has given the green light, you entered, and you want to take your 1.5%. But it doesn't give you 1.5%, it gives you 1%. But here's what you observe. The red line crossed below. Once the red line has crossed below, it means it's a thick red line. It means it's a possible getting ready to drop in price, okay? But you see, KDJ turned green here, which means price has started going up. Now remember, this is a retest. Price crossed, it retested, and then broke the support line. So if it retested and went down this way, it will mean that, okay, verified, this is broken. So, but it just came down slightly, tested it, and just crossed it. Okay, so you have to adjust this line, the trend line again. Remember, you want to touch the tip or the wick, always the tip or the wick of the line. Okay, all right, so the trend line was adjusted here to here. It's now been adjusted again to this point. So when this has happened, of course, you might just tell yourself that with this dip below and the test which broke, you just want to take 1%. So a smart person will just take 1%. Okay? Because this has crossed here, repeated here again. All right, so but no cause for alarm. Now, here's the part you need to be patient, you need to be very observant of. Here again, the assets dropped in price, crossed again. And this time, look at the bottom, KDJ is pointing you downwards. KDJ is pointing you downwards. At the same time, this price has crossed below the line. So remember when it crossed here, KDJ was not really pointing you downwards. Yeah, except here, okay? But here, KDJ is pointing you downwards in a way that should give you a kind of warning sign. The price dropped below the trend line, tested the trend line. You can see it dropped below the trend line, tested the trend line. I wish I can have an arrow to describe this clearly. So just observe this. It dropped below the trend line, tested the trend line from under. This is a resistance, and then price collapsed. So if you want to cut a loss, this is where you can cut your loss, right? If you want to cut your loss, this is where you can cut your loss in case you want to take a higher profit here and the market gave you this kind of sign, dropped, tested the trend line after you adjusted it, tested the trend line, and face down. So the trend line is something you keep correcting, all right? The trend line is something you keep correcting. But as you keep correcting it, it will help you know when the market has gone the other way. If the price crosses down, retests it from the other side, and then faces that direction, what I mean is this. So remember, here, when we're here, all right, price crossed down, did a retest, and then went up. KDJ was doing. Do you understand? KDJ was doing when we use this point. We adjusted it to this point, yeah? And we wanted to get it on this wick here. All right. So remember here again, price crossed down, KDJ crossed down, all right. Price came down, tested it, but broke through it because KDJ pointed up, almost immediately. So this tells you, okay, this was not a real cross. You adjust again because you need 2 points to draw your trend lines. Don't worry, this is confusing you. This has been recorded and you're going to watch it again and again and again, but you need to get this concept if you want to take your trading to the next level. So, but when you are placing it, make sure it's on the edge, on the wick, on the edge of the candles, okay? Oh, look at, there's a wick here. There's a wick here. So we're going to place it on that wick. So you can see this candle had a wick here below. So we're going to place it on that wick. So you can see this time around, price crossed down, tested it, and said going down. KDJ, So this is a sign to tell you I'm about to go deep. At this point, cut your losses and watch out for the trade. By the way, by the time we're ready to start trading futures in RoyalQ, you could do this, but that's for the future. All right, so this is the point where you cut your losses if you want to cut your losses, or you allow the margin calls to buy, and just wait patiently until it bounces back. By the way, this is how many percent? Just 3%. So nothing to worry about, even though the screen is really zoomed to help you tolerate this. All right. Now, here's the thing. Price has gone. Let me delete this. Price has, face down. So I'm going to hide the Bollinger Band again for a moment. Price has crossed downwards. So we're now in a downtrend. So you have to draw your trend line again. All right. This is obviously invalid right now. So what you do, take your trend line, look at this tip. All right. The points are this and this for starters. We're going to use this and this. All right. So I'm going to sort of click on this tip, use this edge, and draw it down. Okay. I'm going to use this edge and draw it down. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hope it's on the edge. Yeah. So remember, I told you one basic rule: when market is bullish, you draw the trend line beneath the price action. When market is bearish, you draw the trend line from the top of price action. The reason is you want to be able to know when there's a breakout. Okay, breakout is in this direction. So drawing it under will not give you what you need, right? The same thing here. Breakout is in this direction. So drawing it above will not really give you what you need, unless you just want to experiment. All right, so this is the point. You use this point and this point. So you need 2 points. So price is dropping. You want to know at what point will price cross. So you see price kept, moving in this direction. And here we have a cross. Right, here we have a cross. So remember, for every cross, there's a retest. So it crossed here and did a retest. So remember, this is now like it's more of resistance, right? So this is, it hit here, went down, hit here again, went down. Then it crossed here, did a retest. All right, so this is a retest, did a retest, and then started going up. So this is the same thing that happened here, right? When it crossed down here, it did a retest and went in the opposite direction. The same way, when the price crosses, does a retest and goes in this direction, it means the downtrend is over, likely over, and then it's time for the uptrend. Remember, There is nothing in trading that is 100% accurate. It's all probability, and you're trying to limit your exposure to wrong decisions, right? So here it is. It has crossed here. KDJ, excellent. So look at what KDJ is doing here. Let me draw the horizontal line for you to see. Sorry, the vertical line. Here's KDJ. It has crossed. KDJ crossover. All right. So right here, you could have easily entered your trade and look for, yeah, good 1.5%. Market can hang around a little bit, do the negative thing, and then it will deliver to its target. Okay. So this is how you can do some analysis. But here's another thing I want to do. I want to show you something. If you look at some points in the past, here, you can draw a horizontal line that connects those 2 points. Do you get? Sometimes you can do that. And you can see that horizontal line, when price crashed below that line, it did a retest here too. Do you see? So this retest coincided with both. Let me hide the Bollinger Band for now, so it to be clear. So this market went downwards, did a retest on this line, but it also did a retest on this line. Okay, so there's horizontal and diagonal support and resistance lines. So support and resistance is not only horizontal. Yes, you can see here, it tested here, went up, tested here again, went up, and broke through this. This time it broke through here. When it broke through here, it did a retest and started going downwards. Okay, now you have a signal that, okay, this is likely going to go up. So automatically, I would tell myself that, hey, I will just take 0.8% on here on this trade. The reason is, I'll just take 0.8%. Look at it, 0.8% on this trade, because there's also a resistance line here. So I'd just like to watch it. What I'll do is take the 0.8%, watch it break this line. When it breaks this line, retest it from up and go up. So this price, if it's going to go upwards, it will cross this line, okay? Retest it from up and go up if it's going upwards. But if it tests this and bounces back, it means we're going downwards. So based on this alone, I would say I'll just take 0.8% and walk away on this trade. And you're going to see it's going to deliver that 0.8% and walk away, because price could go. So don't be confused. Don't be worried if this sounds strange. This is actually the basics of some technical analysis. Now, do you see that as we're talking, price hits the 0.8%? While we're, I told you from here, I'll just take 0.8%. Price hits that point. The candlestick crossed it, okay? Before we say it has retested, price will close above it, just like here. This is retesting. It came down, hit it maybe 1 or 2 times. One time is okay. Touched it once and went down. Now the diagonal support and resistance line, this one, is telling us that price has changed from downtrend to uptrend. And we looked at KDJ. KDJ said we're an uptrend. We looked at Bollinger Band, for example. Bollinger Band said, yeah, we touched the lower Bollinger Band earlier, and I think we're ready for business. And we just take the 0.8%. No need being greedy. Before you enter the huge trade, you're going to wait for this to go up. It's going to go up. Touch it. It can happen within 1 or 2 candles. Remember, this is the 15-minute chart. It will happen between 1 or 2 candles. And if it tests this from up, just like it's testing this one from below and went down, you can test this from up, and you can take another 1.5% if it moves up that way, or another 1%. Okay? So this is important, and it's the basics of trend lines. Now, let's look at the historical movement a little bit while we are watching. So remember, you just want to take 2 points, okay? You just want to take 2 points, all right? 2 points. So Here we have a point, and here we have another point. In case you're confused about the points, you can click on the line chart and take a look at your line chart. This is 1 point, this is 1 point. Do you see? All right, then this is a couple of points here. So I'm just going to go back to candlestick. All right, so here I can go back and select trend line again. This is 1 point. I'm drawing it from the week, and let me just draw it here on this week. All right, so this week and this week. When I say week, I mean those long strands below and above the candle. So I'm dragging this up. Okay, so look at this. I got 2 points here and here. So you entered here, good trades. Those are the 2 points. But then I'm waiting for you to touch here so I can enter again. But then something happens here. Price breaks. There's a break. Now, after it breaks, I'm seeing KDJ is pointing down. After it breaks, it does a retest, close retest. Okay, I have to adjust this candlestick here from here because there's a wick here. There's a wick here. So I have to adjust this to be on the wick. Very important. So you have to pay attention to the wicks so I can get this right. We use this one at first. Let me go back. All right. So we use this one at first. Okay. At this point, it crossed, then went back up. Okay. If it crossed, came down, retested, and faced down, I would say, okay, it's facing down. But it's crossed it and went back up. So I'll just adjust this to the wick right here. There's a wick right there. In case you can't see it, I can make it bigger. So there's a wick there. All right. It's a wick right there. All right. So based on our diagram, in our trend line, this is an uptrend. So I would have almost wanted to enter here, but see, at this point, it's really crossed it, and it's crossed under it, and this is a retest. This candle retested it from under. This is how trend lines work. When you're about to have a change in direction, it will go from here to here, retest it from the other direction, and then face down. But it didn't face down, it said to hover. But you see, the truth is that it's still not going in the bullish momentum aggressively. So this is a sideways market. This is a sideways market. And when you're in a sideways market, you want to be a little careful. All right? So it's kind of changing direction. What you could do also, as it broke down here and appeared to be going up, you adjust it again. So really, I wouldn't want to enter this trade because it's right here. I want to be careful. I'll just stay clear. What's Bollinger Band saying? Okay, it's here. You could have made some money, but with the trend line, it's not too clear. Okay, I will just let it be. Meanwhile, KDJ is pointing down right here. Okay, between here, if you look down here, KDJ is pointing downwards. So KDJ just went green here again. KDJ went green at this point. Okay, so what do? I could just drag my trend line, extend this so I can see clearly. Drag my trend line down again. Okay. All right, to the point where KDJ, see, it keeps breaking it. So this is already telling me this thing has broken this a couple of times. Let's just keep watching. You could be making some small percentages because KDJ keeps telling you make 1.5, but you just need to be cautious, right? When there's a sideways market is where people lose a lot of money for those who are trading futures or forex. So it's always said, be careful how you trade the sideways market unless you have a choppy method. So this turned from uptrend to sideways, and then the trend is not clear. Okay, so you can decide to just watch the market. And you can keep drawing trend line after trend line until you see a direct movement. All right. So meanwhile, this line crossed here, tested this, tested it again here. Let me make this bigger so you can see. So tested this line, tested it again here. The fact that I tested it here, tested it again here. All right, then you watch it. So you enter again when you feel there's a kind of clear direction. So this is something you play with, okay? There's no 100% certain model, but I tell you, you can avoid some whipsaws. So here there's been a couple of whipsaws right here. So let's go look for another kind of sorry, I know this is taking some time, but this, look at this. Look at this. So don't worry yourself, just don't be too technical, just pick any 2 points. So the wick is here. This is the next one. I'm dragging this here. Okay. I'm dragging this here. Is it touching this? Okay. So remember, just barely touch this one, right? Yeah. So these are the 2 points, this point and this point, and I'm dragging it here. So you can see it touched here, went down, resistance, went down. Okay. So even if you are here and you want to take your Bollinger Band in a downtrend, this is a tip for you. Remember to watch this video again and again. You might learn a couple of things. So in a downtrend, okay, in a downtrend, and this is the Bollinger Band here, KDJ has pointed. You enter here. You don't want to go beyond this trend line. Okay. Some people say target 3.5%. Yes, maybe. But you don't want to go beyond the trend line. You can just give it a 1.5 as usual, like we say, and you would have sold. So even if it's here, you entered the trade, you're going to tell yourself, this trend line is coming down. I don't want to be too, yeah, don't go above it. Okay. Then when it dips again, so remember, what just happening here is this is the resistance. Price has dropped, touch the Bollinger Band, you enter here again. So this is the resistance here, this is the resistance here, the 2 points we used, and price has dropped here again. So someone can say KDJ has gone green. Let me just quickly come here. Where did KDJ go green? No, I think it's somewhere here. KDJ went green, right? KDJ went green somewhere here. All right. Someone can say, let me just take yeah, from here. Okay, now when you do that, of course, the market goes down. So you relax. It buys the dip. Later came up here and sold. All right, sold and gave you profit here. But so bottom line, this entry did not work out. Okay, so for those who did not enter at that point, who came here, entered here, they enter here and take their 1 point, yeah, maybe 2%, but below the line. Okay, then those who entered here, look at it, bounced back, push back here again. So there's a first test, second test, third test. Come on, you enter here again. But remember, KDJ turned here green. You enter. You could actually have set your take to 12. But remember, it's coming down, so you have to keep adjusting it as it's taking longer. You know, keep adjusting it, and it gave you 1.7%. Now, here's the part I want to point out. This is our own tweak because we're using RoyalQ. When it reaches, it pushes back, touches the lower Bollinger Band, you enter. Okay. Let me delete this one so it doesn't make this video clumsy. Okay. Too many things on it. So for your trading, once you're in a bearish market, when it touches and pushes back to the lower Bollinger Band, KDJ gives you entry, you enter. Don't take profit beyond the trend line. So here again, the trend line crossed. Price crossed the trend line, yeah. Price crossed the trend line, tested it from the upper side, and went up. So price crossed the trend line. And remember, this trend line has been drawn from here. Okay, and there's no wick that went above it. If there were a wick that went above it, we will adjust. So no wick has gone above it. So right here, you see, price has crossed here. It actually did cross, then tested it from above, then went upwards. So when it tested this, you know, a person can decide to say, I can enter here. So sometimes if somebody entering the trade at the upper Bollinger Band is because he has seen a retest here. There's a retest, which means there's a likelihood that this thing. So once this candle closes above this one, person might just say, let me take my 1%. This one actually delivered 1.5%. But 1% will be fine because you are the upper side of the, you know, the trade. So I'm just trying to show you what's possible when you add these things. Yeah. So you can see it crossed below it again. It crossed below it, did a retest, and so, and then look at this again. It crossed above it, did a retest here. All right, and came here. So the moment this happens, listen, KDJ is already green and all. A person will say this is the middle of the line. I'll enter here, take 1.5%. And we'll make it in his trade. Of course, the market is now going upwards, and the other, tactic we use to draw here and draw here. So this is how you can navigate the market. It requires you drawing the trend lines so that you, especially for those that like to, trade with higher capital at the top. So look at our trade. All right, so I told you take your 0.8%. It delivered it here. It's crossing. Now it's going to cross. If it crosses, tests it, candle closes green again and looking good, can go in again and take a 1.5. Even though, it looks like that's touched the top of the Bollinger Band. So this is TGS to the next level stuff. Okay, TGS to the next level. So TGS is the beginning where you just watch the Bollinger Band and KDJ going, no worries. Many people can easily do that. So let's stick with that. But I'm just, for those who want to go deeper and who want to concentrate on, their trading, like those very volatile coins, you can use this and trade again and again and again. So there's no perfect way of drawing the trend line. Just draw it and enjoy enjoy your drawing. All right. So remember the tip I told you in the downtrend. Use that. This, it has resisted it here. When it goes down, make sure your profit target is not above this line. Pushes it down. Just have in mind this line as it goes. Okay. If it breaks it if there's a wick that grows above it, adjust the trend line to cater for that wick. Let's go draw another trend line. Ultimately, you have to practice this on your own, surely. All right. So let's go draw another trend line. I'm looking for two. All right. So let's do this now. I can use this and this. Okay. This and this. So, there's no perfect way. I'm going to draw several trend lines now just to show you that there's no perfect way. All right. So I'm looking for, let me hide this Bollinger Band. So this is the top of this one, and this is this. Okay. So I've drawn this. So observe what happened here. Observe what happened here. Resistance, resistance. It tried to cross above this, but you see, it retested, then came under. Once it does that, I extend this line above on that tip. Okay. I can drag this all the way down because you're going to see it play out. Sometimes you're going to see it play something out along the way, and you could be amazed at what it could play out. So let me just drag this down all the way. You might sometimes be surprised at what it will play out. All these trend lines could play out. Okay. So can you see here? I'm just trying to show you how they all connect. Let me delete this price movement here. This price. Can you see that this trend line that was coming from far above was a resistance line to price going up this way? Yeah. So when price touched it, it went down under. So they're all connected. Don't bother yourself about whether you're drawing it accurately or anything. They are all connected. Now, I could come here and decide that, okay, let me draw another trend line where I leave those ones since the market has kind of dipped on this two, yeah? Let me draw another one from here and here. It doesn't matter. I just take it from this week, touch it here, take it down. You're going to really practice how to do this on your phone if you're using a phone, okay? I'm trying to draw this properly and dragging it all the way here. The tip while maintaining the tip. All right. Why maintain the tip? So here is what we've drawn. Let me add Bollinger Band now. So this is downward, okay? So you see it pushed it down. This is steep, so I would be very careful when trading here. Tested it once, tested it twice, tested it 3 times. So this is a very steep drop. So this is a downtrend. When does this downtrend end? So here's a tip on when the downtrend ends. So look at this. It crossed over, tested it, and went up. So at this point, this KDJ move here, I could enter it with confidence and know I can take my 1.5% without headache. Okay, sometimes I might want to test, just keep to this 1.4. So I don't regret. We actually delivered 1.5. Okay, and that's what you need to know. It's crossed over here. But if I keep dragging it straight down, you can see it also coincided with this point. So I'm just trying to show you that these trend lines, they talk to themselves. The algorithm of the market operates with this trend line. So you can see it's crossed over, retested this point, and went up, delivered 1.5 or 2%. Then the market changed direction again. You could withdraw this one going down, but as it was going down, it touched this point, which coincided with this one, and this one automatically formed as a resistance and pushed the price up. Okay, so these lines, they communicate with themselves, and as you draw them on your chart, you could see a lot of market direction probabilities. So this is not for those who don't want to crack their heads and understand a little bit about the deeper things. Don't worry yourself if you don't want to do that. Just focus on using the KDJ and Bollinger Band on the RoyalQ app, and you're good. So this video is to take it one step deeper. Okay, so this is basically a summary of all I think you need to know for this episode. And next weekend, we're going to take it one level from here. So go ahead now, begin to draw your trend lines, combine it with your TGS strategy, time your entries, time your exits, and you can decide to concentrate on the volatile coins, and you're good to go. So you can see the price is still testing this 0.8. All right. So it's seen as a support. So remember to combine the horizontal support and resistance with the trend lines, and it will give you some additional insights. Okay. Thank you very much, and all the best.